So, when I say fat phobia, what do you think about? Probably the whole media image of you have to be thin and fat people suck and all this other stuff, which of course is no good, but fat phobia can go much farther than that. In fact, it can get downright dangerous for people who are overweight because of doctors having fat phobia. When Now what that means is that people who are overweight will go to the doctor and complain about symptoms of some medical issue and trying to get it checked out, and then the doctor will say, oh, it's because of your weight, and not actually check to see what the hell is actually wrong. They'll just look at them, they're overweight, it's their weight to blame for any medical condition that they could possibly come to the doctor with. So that's really fucking dangerous because people have fucking died because they've come in with symptoms of like an impending heart attack, and they said you're just getting your chest pains are just because of your weight, and your arm is sore because of all your weight or your whatever. And then because like I saw this thing just now, it was like someone's grandmother died because since she was overweight, and they went to the doctor and they said it's because of your weight, and then sent her home and she died like of a heart attack. She went to the doctor because she had symptoms of a heart attack and she died. Like, and even if it's not as extreme of a case of that, there are people who have dealt with untreated medical conditions for years because the doctor just said it was because of their weight. Like, and then like people have said that they've had problems with their people will have problems with their skeleton, like you got something dislocated or broken, or your joints are not quite right, or you got into an accident and you got some sort of whiplash, or you got some sort of issue, or like you can't really move your arm that much because of some sort of physical thing happened to you, like you fell or you were in an accident or something happened, you fell out of a tree, for God's sakes. So you go to the doctor and they say, oh, you're only experiencing that problem because of your weight. When it could be an underlying issue that if physiotherapists could see you for 2 seconds, they say, oh yeah, this is your fucking issue. I mean, there's so many cases, like there's this Facebook photo that had all these comments of people talking about this issue. The Facebook photo, I'll put it in the description. This overweight girl with a pale, like she has a spike in her, and then she's like, doctor, I've been impaled, and the doctor's like, hey, sure, it's probably just because you need to lose some weight. And then everyone's giving their anecdotes and all this other stuff, and it's fucking true. It happens all the time. A lot of people in my family are overweight, and like my sister, for example, she is fit as hell. She is the fittest person I know, but she has the endomorphic body type. And for those who are unaware, there are 3 main categories of body type. There's ectomorphic, which means that you are naturally skinny no matter what you do. Like, you know those really skinny people who eat more than anyone else and they stay skinny? That's an ectomorphic body type. Then there's endomorphic body type, which is people who just are fat no matter what they do. So, and I'm not saying obese, I mean they're overweight. So they could be muscular, they can be fit as hell, but they've got a belly or they've got a big butt or something like that. And the endomorphic body types tend to also have a very broad skeletal frame, which makes them look, you know the term, I'm just big boned? That's people who have a large frame. It's not that their bones are thicker or something, although people who are heavier, whether it be because of muscle or fat, do have denser bones because, they have to be strong enough to hold up the extra weight. And so you don't see people who are bigger, whether because of muscle or fat, anyways, they don't have as many broken bones, so that's a cool little benefit. Anyways, moving on. So people with a larger frame, they look bigger, so they could be thinner than someone, but look bigger. Like I remember, I'm overweight now, but when I was a teenager, I was perfectly healthy. I was perfect healthy weight for my height, age, whatever the fuck. Except I've always had very broad shoulders and a large rib cage. So even when I was so thin that I had a flat stomach and I had like no hanging fat on my arms or anything like that, I was still a size medium top, while my stepsister, who was quite chubby at the time, was a size small top, because I just have really broad shoulders and a really large rib cage. So, bones, man, you can't do shit about that. Anyways, so my sister, captain of rugby team, she's on she's on the swim team, and she does dance after school. She's not doing that this school year, but for the past 3 high school years, she's been doing that. So, and she's only not doing it this school year. Oh, she's doing rugby still, but not the swim or dance because of money and time, and school's gotten too hard for her to have that many extracurricular activities, and she has a job now and all this other stuff. But anyways, so she's like the fittest person I know, but since she has an endomorphic body type, she has fat on her still, no matter how much she exercises. Like, at one point, she was jogging while doing all 3 activities, like I mentioned, and also she would jog every day, and she was doing this insanity workout to try and shed the pounds, and she was not eating a whole heck of a lot because of the self-esteem issues and all this other stuff, and the doctor kept telling her to lose weight. She's trying her hardest, and she was I remember one time I saw her doing her exercises, and she was just wearing a sports bra, and holy crap, you could see her muscles in her back. I've never seen a back that muscular, and she's fit, but the doctor just sees her, blames all her issues on her weight. She goes to the doctor with lower back pain. It's because you just need to do some more core exercises. She tells the same thing to my stepdad, who he was the ectomorphic but turned into the endomorphic later in life. He was really skinny in his youth, and then he hit about 30, and then he got belly. He's skinny everywhere else, he just got belly. Anyways, so, no, gotta do some core exercises. I've gotten lower back pain from sitting wrong or lifting something improperly, or, having my back bent too much or something like that, and I'll tell you, it's a fucking bitch to move, let alone try to do some exercises. Trying to do some freaking, she's not even saying what type of exercise. She said, just do some core exercises. She doesn't talk like that at all. I'm just making fun of her. The reason why we still see her is because she's a good doctor for everything else, but she's still got the fat phobia thing going on. Anyways, so, yeah, even though my sister's my sister probably has a 6 or an 8 pack underneath there. Underneath there, that was so mean. No, okay. You can actually kind of see it, but she's got a bit of a belly, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyways, moving on. I'm sorry, my sister, if you see this. I don't mean it the way... Let me get my foot out of my mouth. But that's all the doctor sees. She doesn't see the muscles that you can clearly see on my sister. Come on. So, yeah. And then another thing is with anxiety. Someone could have... I remember when I was first diagnosed with anxiety, I was still pretty much a healthy weight. I was when I was starting to gain weight because of mental illness, by the way. I'll get into that in a sec. And I went to the doctor with purely physical symptoms, and and then they quickly surmised it was because of anxiety. She goes to the doctor with her physical symptoms plus her emotional and mental symptoms, and it takes much longer because it could be your weight. Anxiety, for fuck's sakes. And then another thing is that I was doing pretty okay for much of my teen years, but when I was 17, I went into a really bad depression, and my anxiety got really bad, and I ended up gaining a shit ton of weight really quickly. And my mental health went from being it's not the best, but manageable, decent, whatever, to plummet. So I ended up gaining 50 pounds in 5.5 months. Yeah. Anyway, so after that extreme dip, and I was feeling suicidal, I had stopped going to school and everything else because I just couldn't handle it anymore or whatever. So I finally started seeing a psychiatrist in the fall afterwards and getting put on some anti-anxiety medication finally, because I had been diagnosed, but I was supposed to go back and see my family doctor, and I just never did. So bad me. So I probably wouldn't have gone through as much of the dip. Anyways, so I went to the psychiatrist. It was a child psychiatrist because I was 17, I wasn't 18 yet. And she kept on trying to put me on a higher dose of my medication, which was causing side effects, because I had just gotten put on the medication. She already wanted to double my dose. And if you take too high of a dose on the medication, it causes stiff legs and stiff muscles and kind of dizzy, other issues. And even though I only needed to be on the dose I had already been put on, because she kept on saying, because you're a big girl. And also she kept on saying that my mental health would be better if I lost some weight. But here's the thing. I gained the weight because of my mental health issues. It wasn't because I was fat and then I got depressed. I got depressed and then I got fat. So, yeah. And there's just so many instances of this, of people having serious medical conditions that a chiropractor or a massage therapist or something like that can take sorry, physiotherapist or whatever can take 2 seconds looking at them, or a doctor that isn't fucking biased to the person's weight, properly look at them and say, oh, this is what you actually have. Because a doctor's supposed to take the symptoms and try and see what they could be based on the symptoms, and try to do tests and whatnot to narrow it down to the actual illness, not decide what's wrong and then fit the symptoms to it. That's the worst way to do anything. If you just automatically say you have this illness, I haven't done any tests or asked any questions, it's this problem. So just saying, you have this problem. It's not anything else. I don't care. No, shut up. You got this. No. No, you have, as a doctor especially, you're supposed to figure out what's wrong, not tell the patient, or tell the body basically, this is what's wrong with you. Your symptoms because of this. And the body's like, no, fuck. So, like, people could have, like, I saw these stories of people with a dislocated hip, and they were complaining about all this hip pain and everything else, and it was like, well, it wasn't dislocated, it was out of line, it was misaligned, and someone was like, whoa, your hip's not supposed to be there, hon, when they finally went to a physiotherapist, just, because they were bugging their doctor enough. Because here's the thing, if a doctor doesn't know, then go tell a different type of doctor, because family doctors gotta know a lot. Okay, I admit that, but why can't they admit that they don't know something? Why are they all like, I'm a doctor, I know everything? Why can't they just be like, okay, this is a little bit outside my expertise. Here, I'll send you for one appointment with them. If they think it's this, then we'll go with it from there. Like, why do they have to assume, like, try to diagnose something right away? Like, if you aren't sure, then it's better to try and do all sorts of different things to try and figure it out, instead of just saying, like, being like, I'm a doctor, I have to look confident, I can't ever be like, I'm not sure. So, fuck, this video is way too long, I'm sorry, thanks for watching. Oh, computer, what are you